Hello, Wow, I have not gone live in months. If you're around, holla, or if you're watching the replay, holla, let me know where you're at. Whilst I wait for the humans to arrive, I'll say something funny. And the funny thing is, 2 weeks ago, I set my girls in my private group, hey, if you're watching this, and a challenge. And the challenge was to go live on the Instagram. And then I was like, and I'm going to do it too. And then I never did it. I never went live. And the girls in my group went live and they did amazing. Some of them hated it and they deleted their lives. Some of them found it really scary. Some of them found it easy. Some of them got clients reach out to them at the end of them wanting to work with them. How cool is that? So I thought that was really, really amazing. Hello if you're here. And then I realized I had not gone live, and my aim is to go live more and deliver you things that I think will be useful. So what I actually wanted to talk about is, should you batch create your content or should you not? And how far in advance should you batch? So if you're watching, if you're a content batcher, drop me a comment, maybe drop me a batch. And if you're not, just say you don't batch. I think this is really interesting, a really fascinating topic. So I've been talking to some of my clients about this too. And one of my clients was batch creating 30 days in advance. So 30 days, a month of content. And one of my other clients creates on the day. And I asked them both how they found this. And I was like, this is interesting. So the client that created 30 days in advance, she found it easier. And the client that created on the day, he found that easier. So what I personally like, and I wonder what you guys do, I would love to hear, even if you're watching the replay. Kaylee wrote, batch-ish. That's a great one. I'm all for that. It's totally a word, Kaylee. I'm going to say that batch-ish means you kind of do it and you kind of don't. So what I find actually the sweet spot is batch creating about 2 weeks worth of content. Any more than that, I find that what you're creating starts to become ever so slightly irrelevant. Any less than that, I find it actually quite exhausting and like you're always having to create. I also think if you're creating too much further than about 2 weeks away, trends are changing so fast, so quickly, your content becomes irrelevant. And the funniest thing that my partner and I were just talking about is by 2 weeks later, you end up not liking the content you created anyway. So you created all this thing, you get to that point, like, I would have said that so much better now. Because as business owners, I believe we're evolving so quickly. So here's why I think creating every day doesn't work. If this is you, listen up. Because why would you want to have to be creative and think about new things to say every single day? What if you don't feel like showing up? What if, especially more so for women probably, like what if you don't like the vibes of your hair and the face and the things? So I don't think batching day to day or like in short time frames is a good idea. I also think it's a lot of creative bandwidth gone. Like literally gone, because you're spending that time each day having to get creative, having to think of new ideas, when you could just get the thing, caption it, and chuck it out there and keep moving and keep going. Rather than the concept of creating taking up your whole day. Oh, what a drainer. So then the client I had who batch created a month in advance, what I don't think works about that is essentially what I was saying before. It's too far, in advance. Too much is changing. So if you're tuning in now, we're talking about batch creating our content. Let me know if you do or you don't. And how far in advance you're creating and what actually makes sense. So the other thing I kind of thought about with all of this is kind of how we end up not liking our own content by the time we post it, or we judge it, or we're like, is this really good? And I'm a big fan of posting everything in your draft section. And this is because I think the things we don't necessarily think will do well actually end up doing really freaking well. And I also think there's a bit of a shift and a change when it comes to like Instagram and content at the moment. anyhow. So I would love to know, how far in advance do people batch and what works for you? Because I think it's a really interesting concept and a really interesting topic. I was going to say something else about batching, but I've totally forgotten now, so that's fine. And the types of content, another piece I was going to say. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I remembered. Okay, I want you to think about how you batch. So the way I batch, and I think this is going to be so useful for people. I wish I could like keep explaining my process. Well, I can, but okay, it's this. So I sit down to my batching day, and what I do is I actually write out all my ideas on a piece of paper. So I have them like jotted away in my phone, in my notes section, whatever, and then I flesh them out. So on the piece of paper, I write like, okay, this will be the hook, this will be the middle, and this will be the end. And I write out about 7, at least 7. So at the moment, I'm trying to aim for close to like 10 to 15 reels at a time, but at least 7 reels. So I've written them out, right? So you write it out on a piece of paper is better. Get your phone ready, get your phone set up, and I do a mixture of sitting here and a mixture of the other section, the other place I record reels in. My sister just joined. Hi. And then I write them all out, and then I film all 7 or more if I can. So usually I get to that point and then I film again. So then I film the next 7, right? And I save them all in my Reels section. And then for that day, that's usually all I do. So I'm not trying to like record all the reels and caption all the reels and then have them all ready and hashtagged, because I don't know about you, but that sounds freaking exhausting. So all I focus on is that day being about filming the reels. Then I get them all done, put aside. Usually by that point I'm knackered, and that's like 10 to 15 done. So up to 2 weeks worth of reels. And then when I'm ready to post them, I will batch about 3 or 4 at a time. I'll pop music behind them. I'll make sure they're, actually captioned properly, hashtagged, call to actions, all that fun stuff in the caption. And then I usually try and get 3 or 4 ready, but not always. I don't always get that many ready at a time. But then when it's time to post them, all I have to do is engage on my feed and then hit post. So I want to make your life easier, and I know I want my life to be easier. So this is what I do. I hear so many people that they try and do it all at once in one day, or they like task swap. The best thing your brain likes is to batch things together. Emily just asked, I love this question, how long does fleshing them out and filming 10 take? So I timed myself the last 2 times I did this. This is really interesting. Fleshing them out, like writing out my notes, took me about 20 to 30 minutes. Mind you, I've been doing this for a while, so it was pretty quick. And I already have the kind of bones of it fleshed out in my notes section on my phone. So by the time I get to filming it, I'm pretty quick at it. And then, by the time I get to fleshing it out, I'm pretty quick. And then the actual filming component took me, I think I did 12 in an hour and 15 minutes. So like 10 in an hour, that is pretty phenomenal. And I've timed this twice or maybe even 3 times, and they were the same. I don't refilm. I have a rule that I don't refilm more than 3 times. And I usually film everything in one go. So that's how long that takes me. So if it takes you any longer, I'm going to say it's taking you too long. So hopefully that helps. Kaylee said, I enjoy batching about 2 weeks. Yeah, same. Also, I have 40 reel drafts, Adriana. 40, she says. 40, oh my gosh. And I don't post those. I'm keeping them in case I love them again. Kaylee, I'm going to make your life so much easier right now. Don't wait until you love them again, because your audience will probably love them right now. And they need to hear all that right now. 40 reels is wild to me. I think I have 5 in my draft section, and literally all of them will go out within the next week. Emily commented, I spent an hour refilming 1 today. Okay, so guys, I want to give you all a present. If 1 reel is taking that long, it's too long. It is too long. 1 hour, I feel like should get you at least, I mean, I'm going to say 10 reels, but like if you're a bit newer, maybe 6 or 7. And again, use the kind of rule of thumb. If I need to film it more than 3 times, just pick one that worked or move on, go to something else. So that, my loves, is my rant on batch creating your reels and how I batch them. I hope that was fun. If you have any other comments or questions, drop them in now, or if you're listening to the replay, drop them in and I'll do the things and the stuffs. I'm going to try to do this more often because it was actually quite fun. So thanks for being here. Moral of the story, batch create your reels, batch create your content, even your quotes and carousels and things like that, batch that too. Kaylee actually just asked a great question. Do you batch your stories? This is really interesting. So if you watch my content a bit, you'll know I post stories pretty much every day and I think they're pretty cool. I trialed batching reels when I was traveling. I trialed batching stories when I was traveling a lot, and that did help. Just saving them in your draft section. And spoiler, don't click save first. Make sure you click back and then save the drafts to your stories section. But I found it worked best if I was like traveling, or if it was before the weekend, or if I knew I really wanted to do like some specific promo on my stories and have them ready. But honestly, what I love the most about stories is that it's in the moment, on the day energy. So for me, on the day energy means like literally when I take a photo of my coffee on my walk, that is the day I had that coffee. That is the day I went for that walk. But what I do is take all my photos while I'm like out and about, and then I go and post it in my stories later. That way I can be fully present with what I'm doing. And then I will batch put up my stories for that day, like in one section in the day, but I won't have like stuff pending and ready. However, if there is a day where I'm like the next few days I'm flat out, I will get a whole bunch of days ready. So I hope that helps. So I guess the answer is mostly I do it in the moment, but every now and then I do 3 or 4 days in advance. Again, any more than that, I feel like it loses its juice. This is about stories, by the way. And it loses its energy, you know? I've been having a lot of fun with creating stories at the moment. I think they're a really, really important piece of real estate. On our Instagram, I'm actually thinking of doing a masterclass on stories, so that's a bit fun. Because stories sell, like essentially, like that is something to remember. Stories are somewhere where people feel really comfortable buying and looking at what they want to buy and getting involved in your world and all of those things. So I've been having a lot of fun with creating stories. Kaylee, your stories are great as well. Yay! I'm so glad this has been helpful. This was way funner than I thought. So glad I set my group girls this challenge, and I also always do our challenges. If you want more of these, let me know. And if you want to be part of my beautiful group program, I am taking on more beautiful coaches and healers to be part of my beautiful, beautiful space. It is solid live, and if it's something you would love to explore with me, just DM me the word soul, like your soul, and we can explore if it's a good option for you. It is zero pressure, zero obligation. It's all about exploring if it feels good and it makes sense. And if you want things like live challenges and live info of what I'm noticing is trending, what helps people sell, what's working, what's not working online right now, and all the juicy things in between, it is a place for you. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you for being here. That was lots of fun, and I'll see you next week. Let's see if I can work out how to post this thing. No.